And good morning, Gers TV. It's myself, Si Leslie here, and I've got Ryan as well. I've been up late editing yesterday's late night. I've let my first stream of the year, my first live stream on a Tuesday night, so I'm a bit tired, and Ryan's going to join me and give me his suggestion for tactics and team selection tonight. How's things, pal?
Aye, okay, pal, yeah. Up bright and early, so early bird catches the worm and all that shite.
Normally.
Aye, usually.
So, what was your thoughts? So, we had a wee chat last night, obviously, but we've got a game on Thursday coming up. It's going to be a real test for Rangers, I think, this one. And Derek McInnes is a manager.
Aye, it's got a potential banana skin written all over its side. So I think the manager needs to realise this and do what he can to protect the team, and protect our ability to actually progress through the tie. You know, the team's still very, and it's still in its infancy just now as far as there. We obviously we're well aware as fans that it's not the finished product. So, you know, there's no embarrassment, there's no shame in actually getting out here and just parking the bus and actually working what we've got.
Definitely.
Obviously, we're aware that we don't have the wide players that we're needing to make Derek's favoured system work. So if you don't have the tools in the box, then you need to just change your tactics and change your strategy. So I pulled together a couple of quick things for you last night. It's just a couple of suggestions of what you could do, which we'll go into. But you know, the definition of madness is repeating the same process and expecting different outcomes. So he has to kind of look at that himself, and hopefully he looks to change it and stuff like that. If he thinks it's a good idea starting Jaden Kasama on the left hand side on Thursday night, he's going to find out. You know, he's going to find it. I don't think there's anyone that's got much good things to say about Kasama, whether that's his teammates or his fans. So why does he deserve to start? Why does he deserve to keep playing him? Unless he's trying to prove a point as the manager, because we know that managers can do that as well when they're speaking to their board and they're speaking to the recruitment guys. They just keep kind of pointing out things. They make kind of strange substitutions and stuff. So, but I don't think Derek's the kind of spiteful person that would do that. I'm hoping he's not the spiteful person that would do that.
Right, I think he'll be more interested in doing a call it a Walter Smith, mate. I think he's just going to try and go get a result and get back. Regardless of the performance, he's just going to try and bring a result back to Ibrox. Normally I would want a good performance, but right now I just want a result. Just get this man here and done with tomorrow night, and then see how it goes from there. But it really is a banana skin.
Yeah.
Did we get the visa? Did we get the visa for the tower? I think I checked this morning about through.
He's named in the squad. On social media with that boy for the MP that managed to lend a hand and stuff like that. So I think so. I mean, I'd be surprised if it didn't go through. EU visas for sportsmen seem to be a lot easier than the British visas anyway.
Aye, well, it's one of the ones I think we're really needing it. With Ben Godfrey's been out, we definitely need that bit more security and defence.
Yeah, it's just another option there. But you want to bring up one of the two things that I brought?
Right, I'll go with the first one. I'll let you carry it away and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, so this one's basically more of a kind of like a diamond formation. And apologies to the folk that are maybe listening to this podcast rather than watching the podcast, but it's more kind of you could argue this is actually a 4-3-3 side, you know, when you're actually looking at it, rather than a 4-4-2. But it basically Panders for me seems to have settled in pretty quickly and pretty well. Romans picks himself at this moment in time. Fernandez and Sterling as a two centre halves with McCrory. Devlin just sitting in front of those guys just to protect the defence, Diamandi and Asgard. But the kind of main thing is that it's quite narrow. So you're looking at Shanklin, Chermiti and Naderi playing up front with Shanklin kind of more of the deeper ones. We've obviously realised that one of Shanklin's qualities is actually kind of coming back and mixing up the play and getting other people involved. It's probably not somewhere I want to see Shanklin playing in the long term, because I want to see him with his true qualities in the box scoring goals for us. But for me, this is just an option. It's just playing with what you've got. We're not going to try and play Gassama on this left-hand side. We're not going to go throw Finlay Curtis into the Lions Den. It doesn't look as if a Japanese boy is going to be here on time. It doesn't look as if he's going to be registered on time. And even arguably, even if he was registered, it might come too soon for him. So this is just something that...
Stopgap team.
it's just an idea, say, yeah. It's just something just to put the best 11 that you've got on there within a kind of recognised formation. Just ask them to go out there and effectively do a job. But there's goals in this team as well. You know, if you look at, you're actually playing with 3 strikers in there.
Yeah.
Asgard's obviously scored the goal on Friday night there, so there's actually goals within this team as well. You've just got to kind of watch whether it's not too vulnerable. That's where Devlin kind of sits in. Um, with that, it could actually almost kind of slot into a back five in it on occasion if Devlin actually just jumps in between the two centre halves. So tactically
Point.
wise, it looks like a more viable option for me than what he's been playing at the moment.
The question I would ask for that, and we won't know unless we try it, is can the 3 players play together? Shamiti, Shankland and Nabiri?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's something. I don't even think this is just an isolate just for this particular game, but I think that's something
Find
they
out.
has to look out. I don't see any chemistry, to be honest with you, between Shamiti and Shankland. And I think that the chance that Shamiti missed on Friday night towards the end of the game probably epitomises that there is a lack of chemistry between our strikers, because any half decent strikers partnership, Shamiti's got his head up looking for his partner. He's got his head down just looking to try and smash a ball in from an impossible angle on his weaker foot, whereas a partnership or a trusted partnership would be looking up saying, right, I'm not in a great position here, where's my pal? And Shankly's standing in a decent space. Curtis is obviously even better position for it. So maybe that'll come, maybe that'll work the more they play together. But at this moment in time, I think that's something that they need to work on. Is their chemistry and possibly their trust in each other.
Yeah, but you just hope there's a spark. A spark ignites soon, but we can't. Thursday night we can't underestimate the fact that the Poles are going to be right up for this as well. It's a massive game for them. It's a massive game for the two teams.
Yeah, I mean they've been playing Conference League football the last couple of seasons, and they've been relatively successful in that. They'll be looking to kind of make their X great and go and try and put a dent in the Europa League side of things. These players always want to progress, to get to the bigger competitions. And the club themselves will probably be financially incentivizing these guys to go and progress in this as well. So it's something that if you look at their team, it's not actually really a team full of poolside. They're actually quite a multinational team. They've got Americans in their team, they've got Spanish, they've got Portuguese in their team and stuff. They're actually quite a blended group. So I don't think you're going to kind of see that typical kind of what we'd expect, like a Legia Warsaw kind of Polish team get out and fighting for every single ball. You actually probably find they're quite a cultured team, and they're probably not bad on the ball, and they probably play a wee bit as well.
Without a doubt, this is the biggest test yet for Derek McInnes. Without a doubt.
Yeah, and it's like we said last night again. It's like Walter Smith said, you're only 2 games away from a crisis at Ibrox. We've dropped points on Friday night. Be that what it will be, we'll find out if that's a good result or a bad result later on in the season. But we drop points on Friday night. We then go and drop points again, or not drop points. Sorry, we don't get the result we're looking for on Thursday night. The pressure is massive coming on to Sunday, the first home game of the season. It's almost you're 2 games into a league campaign that turns into a must-win game all of a sudden, which is
it's not good.
Well, it's a bit ridiculous. You should never be in that kind of situation so early on your tenure.
Yeah, let's go into the second lineup formation that you've got here, Ryan, and I'll let you talk us through that.
Yeah, so this one's a wee bit kind of more
defensive.
Aye, kind of more kind of parking the bus side, to be honest, and it's trying to kind of use the width, but also try to make sure we're solid in there. There's arguments over the Sterling, Fernandes, McCrory's the kind of the solid back three there. You could argue McCann could possibly come in there, but it maybe means there's an opportunity that you could actually slot McCann in later on in the game. I'm very conscious that Rangers should be trying to manage Dujon Sterling's minutes very, very well.
I was about to say that.
Yep. Don't play him till he breaks. Please just look after him and manage his body, manage his minutes. And this is a possibility. You could actually just get the best out of him and then bring McCann on.
See what he's got to offer.
Yep. Romans hasn't had his best game in the last couple of games as well. He's looking a wee bit kind of
unsettled.
Yep. So maybe this gives him the kind of free lane on the left-hand side there to actually get up and down and enjoy maybe the side of the game that he enjoys playing the most. And Finlay Curtis on the right-hand side, he done quite a good job for Neil McCann, that type of role last season.
Yeah.
Neil McCann almost used him as a right back at some points last season, so you can actually see them I would admire his work. I would trust his work rate, admire his work rate on that side of the park more than anybody else, to be honest. Obviously, Cammy Devlin playing right beside him in that formation as well,
Protecting him.
coming across and protect him. I make sure that he's not getting bullied or anything like that. Obviously, he's a young boy out there. Maybe Devlin will come across here and be his enforcer. And then you've got Asgard linking up with Chermiti and Shankland there. So that's not bad. And this, to be honest with you, if I was to pick one of the two sides, this has been the one that I would go with. I think this is getting the best out of the players that we've got available in the formations that we can get them in just now. There's options within this as well that you can bring people in and out. This quite easily. Spoke about McCann a second ago there. Dragojevic is going to need to get his debut at some point as well. So you've got Dio and Devlin in there. So they're almost playing as a double pivot and the two anchors. So you can get Dragojevic in there and he's got a partner that will look right after him. And then, Shankland, Chermiti, you need to get Majowski some sort of minutes at some point as well. So, you could pull one of these two guys off at some point if they look to tire or if they're not and showing their best. So there's lots of options within that. But I think this is just, if I was to pick the team on Thursday night, this is the team that I would be going for because it protects you, but it also means you've actually got options moving forward as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if I was to pick out the two selections, then I would have to go with that, mate, because it's more safer at this time of the season. If Rangers don't lose a goal on Thursday night, I'm pretty sure we'll qualify for the tie. And if we can go maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and it's nothing each, we'll probably sneak a goal. But you've also got those options of bringing the two new signings on, which I agree with you. That gives both cover and protection for them. That would probably be my favourite of the two of them. The second option, I think, is a better one. Although it wouldn't surprise me if we went with the more attacking formation and just went for
it. Yeah. And I think that, the longer the game goes on, if we do manage to hold a clean sheet for a while, the pressure will start to rank up on them. They'll be looking to bring a lead to Scotland. They'll be looking to bring a lead over to Ibrox.
Yeah, definitely.
So their fans might start putting a little bit more pressure. They might start getting a little bit more desperate. And then you're looking at the likes of Romans and Curtains on this kind of formation that they could possibly hurt them on the break. We all know Shankland's qualities for poaching goals, scoring kind of the half chances and stuff like that. So I think it's just maybe something you can get a wee snatch and grab of this formation whilst also remaining solid as well.
My main concerns when I look at the team that you're suggesting, the second team, mate, my main concerns, you've already addressed them, but I'm going to go back into them. Sterling, without a doubt, is a great player, but he just seems to be seconds away from being injured for another couple of weeks, and that's a big worry for us just now. The other thing is Fernandes. We appear to be getting too many Fernandeses now. One of them is very reliable, great on the ball, and a great challenger, and he can read the game. And then we get this guy every now and again that appears as just so lackadaisical and just seems to be playing at his own pace. You can't do that in European football. We need Fernandes on top form tomorrow night.
It's that old saying, he needs to screw them up. He needs
a bit of the hard boys.
He just seems to float into this wee airy fairyland sometimes, and it's people are accusing him nowadays of believing his own hype that he's due a move to European superpowers, that he's due 30 and 40 million pound. You're like, mate, calm yourself down. You're still making mistakes up in Tannadice on a Friday night that are costing us goals. So he needs to concentrate on being a robust, strong centre half, winning every headers, giving the ball to the more talented players in the park. You aren't going to stroll in the middle of the park. I think if you remember back years ago, Lorenzo Amoruso was a little bit guilty of it as well. For a while, he used to just get the ball at his feet and try to stride out the back line. Look at me, sort of thing. Was that one? Maybe the one against Monaco in the Champions League years ago that he get tackled and we were 2-1 up.
That's right, to your back.
And they ran up the park and Marco Simeone scored at the Copeland Road. It was a disaster that night. So he needs to get that out of his game rapidly. The Sterling one, what can you do with that? The only thing you can do, Si, is just manage his minutes. He's not going to go and play away at Falkirk in their plastic park. We know that. So, I would be looking every single week to get 50, 60, 70 minutes out of him. And we need to be looking at the way he recovers from games as well. Certainly get out in Glasgow on a Friday night and then try to drive his car home isn't a great way to recover from a game. So we need to be looking at his aftermatch rituals and stuff like that as well and see what he's doing to actually look after himself. So
two new signings, or you reckon might feature? The boy is it Dragojevic?
Dragojevic, I think it's pronounced. Aye.
Dragojevic. I'm looking forward to seeing him playing. I think he might add something into that midfield that we don't have now, like a bit of quality and spark.
Aye, I mean, you're not the Partizan Belgrade captain at the age of 20 years old if you've not got something about you. So, you know, he was on their books right through their youth academy, right through their youth pro. So, you know, and I don't want to compare him to somebody like Luka Modric, but his story's not that dissimilar. That it's somebody that's came from that part of the world, broke through into the team early and took the captain's armband at an early age there. So the boy certainly got a talent. You know, I admire his courage as well. You know, because he's probably gave him a right good position of comfort in his home nation with his family around him. You know, captain the club week on week and stuff. So he's taken a massive gamble himself to come and move to us as well. So I admire his courage and the everything that comes with that. So I hope everything works out for him. It's maybe somebody we just need to be a little bit patient with. I'm not 100% sure what his command of English is like and stuff like that as well. So I think he's probably somebody that we'll probably need to be a little bit more patient with moving forward. You remember Borna Barisic in his first season came from that part of the world, but his settling in period was a little bit longer than what it could have been. So he's maybe somebody I don't think you'll see featuring week on week, but certainly a talent nonetheless.
Yeah, but the one thing about him is he should be able to settle into European football. He might actually settle in quicker than we think, because again, I've spoken about this very well, Ryan, but we do appear to be buying players that have leadership qualities. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to shy away from getting involved, shall we say, and that's what we really need.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Cammy Devlin, let's be perfectly honest here. Cammy Devlin isn't the most talented footballer in the entire world, but he took to our hearts very, very quickly because he's just get himself right in there and get himself in amongst it. And as Rangers fans, that's what we want to see. We don't want somebody coming bullying us about. We want that, and it's something that we've missed in our midfield for far too long. To be honest, we've been too easy to play against, too nice to play against, and I know Raskin to a certain extent has tried to kind of be that guy in the middle of the park, but we have missed somebody. I don't think we've had somebody in the middle of the park like that since Kevin Thompson, where they're willing to put a hard tackle on, firm but fair. And when things aren't quite going our way, then there's somebody actually that's got a voice and somebody that's got something to back up. So maybe the young boys got it. Devlin certainly got it. Maybe Devlin can teach him how to do it if he doesn't have it.
The only problem that we've got when we speak about that, Ryan, is the fact that you mentioned it earlier on. You alluded to it. With Rangers, you don't get time. They have to hit the ground running. It's a pressure on a lot of them. Last season, I don't think some of the players were just as bad as we all thought. I just think they weren't mentally capable of playing for Rangers. They couldn't handle the fact that they didn't have 4 or 5 weeks to get ready. It's never. And that might be the test for the lads. You're right, it might be a long-term signing for them.
Yeah. And maybe that's an advantage of having somebody like Derek McInnes as your manager side, because if anyone understands the culture and the expectations of the club and how you should look after these young boys, it will be McInnes. He's not going to be selfish. Maybe managers in times gone by were a little bit selfish and chucking the guys in, expecting miracles from them. So the fact that you haven't actually seen him feature there, years gone by, you might have seen somebody try to chuck him in at Tannadice, expect him to go in and win the game for you. But he's obviously realised it's not that type of game for him, and he's left him sitting there on the bench. So I trust Eric to do the right thing, and if he thinks the boy's ready to go in the park and get some minutes, then if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Now, the young lad who signed from Hanover, the Japanese lad, we haven't seen him. I've only saw the YouTube video, so as you know, mate, that's 50-50. However, it does look like the type of player that we should be signing just now, a winger who's got the pace and ability to get balls into our box. We've got the right balance in terms of goal threat, but we don't have any supply just now. So, what's your thoughts on that signing?
Well, we've seen over the last few years that the guys that do come over from the Far East have done pretty well in Scotland and Fox, but they've not been doing it for us and doing it for somebody else.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, he's had a right good kind of bed in period, but he's actually been in Europe for quite a while now. I think he's come over when he was 18. So he's going to be climatised as far as things like temperature and stuff's concerned, because we've had guys coming from other parts of the world and moaning that it's too cold here. But I think it's another option. It's another body. He looks as if he's quick. He looks as if he's got an eye for goal. Ultimately the most important thing is just giving the ball, we give him opportunities, and you've got to remember that it's not going to work out first time. It's like, you're talking about the things like giving time and stuff like that, but it's just somebody I think that we need. I'm very much kind of of the opinion that we do need guys that have got pace, because the thing, teams will sit back against us, so we've got to have something different. We've got to have guys that do have the ability to get to the byline. There's some of our wingers in years gone by, Oliver Antman, Rabbi Matondo, Jade Gasama, they're just basically running with the ball until such time as somebody tackles them. I want to see wingers that actually have the belief that they're just going to go straight past the guy, get to the byline and get the cross in, whereas these guys seem, for whatever reason, just to seem to dribble up to their opponent and just dance in front of them as if to say, take the ball off me. So
yeah, my description of that would be an old style winger. I think we need a traditional winger. I'm hoping that's what he can add to the game.
Yeah, he looks as if he's got pace. He's left-footed and plays on the right-hand side. So is this whole kind of inverted winger thing that managers seem to like to go for these days. So
he's also got ambition. He's got a lot of ambition, that lad, because he's made it clear that he wasn't happy playing in this. Is it the second division in German football he was in?
They basically, Hanover had him from a team, I forget the name of them. Basically, there was a loan with the option to buy. The option for them to buy him was something like €2 million. He did sort of say, look, I'm not interested in playing second division German football, but they activated the option to buy for the €2 million. They've sold him on for 3 and a bit, plus obviously any add-ons that happen. So they effectively bought him to flip him on straight away, make a profit for themselves. So it's just one of these ones. We're just going to need to kind of wait and see. We're going to need to wait and see. We need a right winger. Hope he's not talking about Scott Wright coming back.
Aye, we just need somebody that's direct, that can beat a man and see if they can find the pass and get the supply, especially to Shankland. But Big Sherwood has proved that he's got the ability to score goals as well. I just think the biggest problem we've got to know is there's not been enough time for these players to gel, and they're not going to get enough time. They're just going to have to find a silver bullet. They're going to have to find a magic wand and start gelling quickly. And hopefully the Japanese lad can be the one to do that.
Yeah, we just want somebody that's actually difficult to play against. You want somebody that, oh Christ, am I playing against him today? You're actually,
I thought that was Gasama. I thought that would have been Gasama, but it's no.
I really don't know what's happened with that boy. Pure in fact, he needs to come out of the team. His best moments in Rangers jersey last season were probably when he actually came off the bench, when teams were starting to kind of get tired. Teams are starting to get tired. Maybe they were starting to chase the game a little bit. I really can't describe. He's a wee bit of an enigma. Rabbi Matondo was much of the same. A very similar style of player. But Matondo did deliver a couple of big moments. He scored the goal in the Champions League qualifier against PSV at Ibrox. He scored an equaliser against Celtic at Ibrox as well. So these guys are moments players. We're really needing somebody that can deliver week on week, that's actually going to supply our strikers. We're wanting guys that we don't want moments, we want consistency from our wingers, is what we're truly after.
Yeah, I don't see any more business being done before Thursday night, but what do you think we'll identify after that? Going on the basis that we don't get beaten Thursday night, because the last thing I want is Rangers to go and start panic buying. I just think we need another winger still, mate. I think we need at least 2 quality wingers.
Yeah. We're still about 4, maybe even 5 shorts. That's it's. And that, I mean, we were on the pod last night. I'm questioning these recruitment guys. What are these guys doing on a daily basis? We spoke last night about, we knew fine well we were losing about 5 or 6 defenders towards the end of, whether that was end
more or less a full defence. Yeah.
End of contract, end of loan. We should have this lined up so that we know, because a lot of football gets done in the background. You hear the guys that sign at Rangers. I first heard about Rangers' interest in me a few months ago. Right. Well, we only knew that we were after you a week ago. So listen, and that's fine. And that's, to be honest, that's the way the business should be done. Because as Joe Public, we should know absolutely everything. That's at the end of the day. That's business. Because as soon as we make a mention that we're interested in a player, all of a sudden, Well, the value goes up and the Rangers tax gets applied, but all of a sudden other teams might start looking, going, "Oh, I didn't hear about him. Who's he? Or is he available?"
Mhm.
So you don't want things like that happening to you. Um, but the deal should be signed, and that the ink should be dry on the contract. As far as I'm concerned, we should be looking at getting pre-contracts done in January for guys and things like that, because that's the way it is for me. And I know there's the risk that the guy, if you sign him in the January, he might get injured by the end of the season. But I want our business done early, because our seasons are just starting earlier and earlier as well. We played our first game in July this year.
Yeah. Well, Derek McInnes has made his thoughts clear at Tannadice in the interview after the match, and I agree with him. I'm worried. I wonder why these guys have been kept on. I sent you that podcast the other day there, and I was talking about Danilo on £44,000 a week wages last season. This is the guys that are the last regime didn't work, and we're still using some of these guys to buy and recruit players. That's a concern for me. The question keeps coming up: why did we not come in and get Davy Weir, somebody that's tried and tested for bringing in talent, and somebody that understands the Rangers way?
Yeah. Well, Davy Weir's obviously worked at a good level as well. Lee McCulloch was working at Brighton as well. So these are guys that are two former Rangers captains, so that
Not again.
know the game, know what to tell, that kind of stuff. That this kind of stuff that we keep saying just now. I this is very much last chance saloon for them, and it's stopping the finger, like we said last night, the finger's going to stop getting pointed to Derek McInnes. Derek McInnes can only work with the tools in his toolbox. You're then looking towards guys like Andrew Kavanagh, Parag Marath, because they're the guys that are directly employing Robbie
Well,
Thelwell, Dan Burdick.
maybe that's why McInnes done that on Friday night. Maybe that was his way of giving him the final ultimatum. I need players, he said. I need players. So if he needs players, it's their responsibility to go out and identify them.
Yeah. I mean, you could actually look at this. See the signings we've made so far, Si. You could look at some of the signings and say that's a Derek McInnes signing, that's Derek McInnes signing,
Aye.
and that's these recruitment guys signing. You could almost identify the
Who's
split
who?
and who's been signed by who, sort of thing. It's pretty obvious what's going on there. But I have a severe lack of trust in these two guys that are supposed to be tooling us up. They don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of credit in the bank after the exploits of last season.
Yeah, and the whole Thelwell connection just still, I feel as if there's still issues with that. There's a lot of things that happen in football, and not just with Rangers, where the agents, it's the same agent involved in loads of transfers, and that's the kind of thing that we want to do with Rangers. We want to be buying the best kind of talent. I'm in no way am I dissing this boy for Hanover, but I don't think Rangers should ever be looking at the lower leagues in Germany to buy first team players. It's just my opinion.
Aye, I mean I really hope the day works outside. There's an element of romance behind the signing as well, with the boys being kind of, it's a bit of a Roy of the Rovers sort of thing, but it's
Billy the Fish.
Aye,
You might be too young to remember Billy the Fish.
I don't remember that one, mate. No,
it is.
But there's an element of romance in it that we've went to the deepest, darkest corridor of German football, and we've signed this guy, and he comes out and he turns out to be a right shiny penny stuff, and I hope it does work out for the boy. At this moment in time, the jury's very much still out for him, but he's by no means I mean, if you're telling me did he lose on £44,000 a week, I was thought it was around about kind of 30, but even 30 is far too much. That's on top of a £6 million signing fee. Danilo's probably, for me, got to go down as financially one of the worst decisions in our history, because that's brilliant. You're talking an extra £15 million player there between wages and signing on.
And as far as I know, it was the same agent that Danilo had the same agent as Michael Beale, as far as I know. And if that's the case, that starts to make you question that kind of stuff shouldn't be happening with Rangers.
It's pretty spooky, that, isn't it? So does that not represent a bit of a conflict of interest? It's just that's just a wee bit spooky, if you ask me, Si.
And it's a hell of a lot of money. This is another problem McInnes has got, is how it's all right me and you saying get rid of these players. Who's going to be foolish enough to buy some of them?
Aye, yeah. I mean, I think Cifuentes is still in the books, and that's he's now saying all of a sudden that he's injured conveniently.
He's back in operation.
Aye, so he's conveniently injured at a time we're trying to move him off. Matondo used to pull that trick on us for a while.
So that's him bought his in a few months. Or not, well, that's him bought his at least January.
Maybe aye, yep. Pick up 10, 12 grand a week from us, Fuentes. So that's.
Well, let me contrast that. Myself, I'm not going to say you've done this, but I've personally been critical of Asgard in the past. But Asgard's attitude when he came back from the World Cup is everything I want from a Rangers player. And no, guys like Fuentes a minute ago, you're saying when he's basically hanging on as long as he can with operations and stuff to get more money out of us and have the easy life. The one thing I'll say about Asgard is his attitude and his response pre-season in the World Cup has been an answer to me, and that's the type of player I want. Guys that want to be part of this club and want to fight for us.
100%. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask, is there is only so much as, so far their football ability is going to take them. At the end of the day, if they're turning up to their work and they're actually applying themselves, if the first guy in the door and the last guy to leave and stuff, and they're applying themselves as much as they possibly can, you really can't ask much more than that from them. At the end of the day, they're doing as much as they possibly can to be the best example of themselves. So, that all of a sudden that becomes the standard side. If that's the expectation, then that's the standard. I think the boy Pandur came back early from his international leave as well. So this is what we're wanting. It's personal sacrifice for the greater good of the club.
And another thing as well was that the quicker we get rid of Raskin, the better. I know we're wanting the best deal. We obviously want the best deal possible, but this is starting to hang. It's lingering on a wee bit now. We really need a quality. We need that match winner in the team. And I think the only way we're going to get the match winner is if we get rid of Raskin, who seems to be fanning about. He's another one in holiday. I think he's back now. I think he might be back training now, but he'll not be in the squad, I don't think, tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if there's actually. I mean, there's rumours of lots of interest and stuff with the Villarreal bid kind of leaked into the press quite conveniently as well, Si. So I don't know if that was something that the club maybe done deliberately to try and start some sort of bidding war quarrel.
Maybe.
The clubs that you would like to think that are interested in them haven't that long been back in, so they've actually just get into their camp in the last kind of this week. I think most of your Premier League clubs, your top teams in France, Portugal, Spain and stuff like that, they've actually only just reported back in the last week, so you might find that they're actually still gathering what they need.
That's early doors in the transfer window, but that doesn't help us because, as you said rightly at the start of the show, we're 2 or 3 games away from a panic.
Yeah. We need to look at what we need for him, because as much as we don't want to kind of go panic signing, we don't want to go panic selling as well. We need to kind of realise what his value is to us. If Celtic are knocking back supposed £20+ million bids for Arne Engels, who couldn't get in the Belgian squad, Raskin played a lot of minutes for Belgium in the World Cup, so if Engels is worth that amount of money, how much is Raskin worth? Is it comparable? They're both centre midfielders. They're both, I think, pretty similar ages and stuff as well. So, do we hold our value for that kind of side of things? It depends. It's a very kind of difficult, it's quite a delicate situation.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, we were moaning all summer, but can't wait till the proper football's back. Now that it's back, the stress levels are up already. Just a wee shout out to the Gers TV Rangers Pools agency. It's 4,500 if anybody wants to join it. You can just contact the Pools up directly from our new website, www.gerstv.co.uk, which went live this week. You can now watch us live on the Gers TV without having to go to social medias now. Aye, what's the plans for the rest of your day, mate? You busy or what?
Aye, it's just work. Believe it or not, I'm still trying to catch up for the World Cup. It's I kicked the backside out of taking 3 weeks off for the World Cup, so I'm still trying to clear the backlog of that. So I'm making dents into it. So hopefully today I'll make another dent into it. There's just only so many hours in the day you can actually work, but I working today. Not much else on apart from that, to be honest.
It doesn't help with that weather as well. That would key. If anything would key you down off that weather, it's just constantly pissing rain. I think that's for summer over and done with, mate.
That's a beautiful Scottish summer out there, Simon. Talking about that is.
I can't get Lily to go for a push. I try to take her out for a walk in the morning and she's just refusing to go.
Don't blame her.
Can't win. Anyway, mate, have a great day. Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you doing that work for us with the different formations. And if anybody's watching us, let us know if you would go with the first formation or the second formation. One's a little more attacking, one's a little more defensive. Thanks, Ryan. All the best, pal.
Take care.